The Red Rose Patakin. Òrúnmìlà performed divination for a man who had fallen madly in love with a beautiful princess, but she did not return his love. He was advised to stay away from her and to offer ebo, sacrifice, for true love, which included 1 guinea fowl, adie, 1 calabash, igba, a scrubbing sponge, aso ile, soap, ozone powder, black cloth, aso dudu, red cloth, aso pupa, and owo, money. The man, however, refused to sacrifice and instead continued to pursue the princess relentlessly. One day she told him, "I know you are madly in love with me, but you must understand that in every way you are beneath me. I am a princess. However, I will give you my love when you become wealthy enough to be worthy of my hand." Determined, the man bid her farewell, swearing that he would return as a rich man to make her happy. He left and journeyed to a distant land. Upon arriving in that foreign land, he endured many hardships and disappointments. Yet through hard work and perseverance, he slowly accumulated wealth. After traveling to various places, he ventured deep into a forest, hoping to trade with its riches, and there he finally amassed great fortune. Throughout his time in the forest, whenever he thought of his beloved, deep sorrow overtook him. To ease his pain, he would whistle a strange yet sweet melody. One day, while he was whistling, a cheerful nightingale, Lekuleja, living in that forest, heard the melody. Enchanted, the bird approached him, and over time, they became close friends. The man shared his sorrow with the nightingale, who, in turn, begged him to teach it the melody. Eventually, the man decided to return home. However, in his haste, he forgot to bid farewell to his dear friend, the nightingale. When the bird realized he had gone, it became deeply saddened. Back in his homeland, the man immediately presented himself before his beloved and proudly declared his immense wealth, saying he had returned to formalize their relationship and marry her. The princess responded, "Very well. But before we make any commitment, I wish for you to bring me a red rose." She made this request knowing that no red roses existed in that land or the neighboring regions, for she did not love him and wished to send him on an impossible quest. The man, unaware of her mockery, set off in search of the red rose, believing it would be easy to find. However, after searching across all the lands, he failed to find a single one. Heartbroken and defeated, he returned to the distant land where he had once found fortune, but even there, the red rose did not exist. Desperate, he wandered back into the forest. There, overcome with sorrow, he began to whistle his haunting melody once more. Immediately, the nightingale heard it and flew joyfully to meet him, sensing the despair in his heart. The bird, however, expressed sadness over his previous departure without a goodbye, and then said, "There are no red roses here either, my friend. But do not worry, take these white roses, Iwe etu, instead and give them to your beloved. Surely she will accept them as proof of your love." But the man, in his desperation, replied, "No, I am not sure she will accept them." Hearing this, the nightingale was deeply moved and said, "My friend, it is late. Rest now, and I will pray that by tomorrow you find your red rose." That night, as the man fell into an exhausted sleep, the nightingale flew to a bush of white roses. Choosing the most beautiful bloom, the bird landed upon it. Then, in an act of pure sacrifice, it pressed a thorn into its own heart, bleeding over the petals until the rose turned deep red. The nightingale gave its life for the happiness of its friend, and its lifeless body fell beneath the rose bush. At dawn, when the man awoke, he was overjoyed to find a red rose. He plucked it happily, not noticing the lifeless form of his devoted friend lying beneath the bush. Believing the miracle to be the result of the nightingale's prayers, he remained oblivious to the great sacrifice that had been made. He rushed back to the princess, presenting her with the red rose, but instead of joy, she coldly replied, "I never loved you. I set these conditions thinking you would never meet them. But the truth is, I do not love you, and for that reason, I cannot marry you." Hearing these words, the man finally realized that all his sacrifices had been in vain. Lesson: whoever receives this patakin is warned that they may lose everything, even their life, by stubbornly chasing after desires without considering the sacrifices and feelings of others.